Today, we're tackling one of the most critical topics: toxic relationships. You've probably heard the term before, but the question is, how do you know for sure if you're in one? Maybe you're wondering, am I being unfair? Am I overthinking? What if I make the wrong decision and hurt my family, my partner, or my children? You want clarity, and that's exactly what this video is about. In this exclusive video, I'll give you the unmistakable signs of a toxic relationship, ones that leave no room for doubt. These are based on years of experience and research, and they go far deeper than the usual advice you hear. Here's why this is so important. The red flags I'll share will escalate in intensity as we go. And the final sign. It's just one word. If your partner says this word, whether they mean to or not, it's a signal that your safety, your mental health, even your life is at risk. This isn't just another list of relationship advice. This is a wake-up call, a guide to protect yourself and your future. So I urge you, stay with me until the very last second. It could save your life. Now, I want to be clear. I'll be speaking directly to women for simplicity, but if you're a man, you can simply reverse the roles. The signs and lessons I share apply to anyone in a toxic relationship, regardless of gender. Before we begin, take a moment to subscribe and hit the bell. Welcome to a video that could change everything. 1. He insults you when you criticize him. The first clear sign of a toxic relationship is when your partner insults you anytime you criticize him. In a healthy relationship, expressing concerns or offering constructive feedback is normal and even necessary for growth. But in a toxic relationship, criticism is met with hostility. When you point out something he said or did, instead of listening, he attacks. He throws insults, belittles you, and makes hurtful comments that are designed to shut you down. These insults aren't random. They're meant to undermine your confidence and silence your voice. This behavior is often paired with deflection. Rather than taking responsibility, he flips the script. Suddenly, the focus is no longer on what he did wrong. It's all about you. He might accuse you of being too sensitive, nagging, or claim you're overreacting. He might even blame you for his mistakes, making you feel like the problem. Here's the danger. Over time, you may start believing him. You might think, maybe I am the one at fault. But let me be clear, this is emotional manipulation. The goal is to avoid accountability by making you doubt yourself. If your partner humiliates or insults you just for voicing your opinion, this isn't love, it's control. Respect and communication are the foundation of a healthy relationship, and without them, you're left in a toxic cycle that will only erode your self-worth. 2. Sudden mood changes. The second major sign of a toxic relationship is your partner's sudden and extreme mood changes. One moment he's calm, collected, and even charming. The next, he's furious, agitated, or distant. These drastic shifts leave you feeling confused and on edge, never knowing what version of him you'll get. When he's angry, it's like he becomes a completely different person. His tone changes, his behavior feels unpredictable, and sometimes even his facial expressions seem unrecognizable. You may find yourself constantly walking on eggshells, trying to avoid triggering an outburst. The problem is, you rarely know what sets him off. His reactions feel random, and that lack of consistency keeps you in a constant state of fear and anticipation. This behavior is a hallmark of toxicity because it creates instability. Instead of fostering trust and emotional security, the relationship becomes a source of stress and anxiety. Over time, you may internalize the blame for his mood swings, believing it's your responsibility to keep him calm. But let me tell you, it's not. Mood swings like this are often a form of emotional manipulation, keeping you off balance and unsure of how to act. A healthy partner doesn't make you feel like you're living with a ticking time bomb. If his mood changes feel unpredictable and unsettling, it's a major red flag that you're in a toxic relationship. 3. Violence in all its forms. The third, and perhaps the most serious, sign of a toxic relationship is violence. whether verbal, psychological, or physical. This is a critical red flag that cannot be ignored. Verbal violence might start with insults, swearing, or harsh words, but over time, it can escalate. He may begin to curse at you, belittle you, or slander you in ways that chip away at your self-esteem and confidence. But verbal violence is often just the beginning. If your partner ever raises a hand to you, whether it's a shove, slap, or any other form of physical aggression, it's time to recognize the severity of the situation. Violence rarely starts out as something extreme, but the danger is that once it begins, it can escalate quickly. Physical violence doesn't always have to involve severe injuries. It can start with small acts that may seem insignificant in the moment. But don't fool yourself into thinking it's no big deal. If you allow it to happen, if you tolerate it, you're setting the stage for something much worse. Psychological violence is just as damaging. Manipulative behavior, controlling tactics, and gaslighting are all forms of abuse that mess with your perception of reality and undermine your mental health. No toxic relationship is free from violence, whether it's verbal, physical, or psychological. If any form of violence is present, you're in danger, and it's time to take immediate action. 4. Blackmail in all its forms. The fourth sign of a toxic relationship is blackmail, whether emotional, psychological, or even through the use of private images or messages. One of the most distressing forms of blackmail is when your partner threatens to expose intimate details of your life, such as private messages or photos, if you decide to leave. They might say, "If you break up with me, I'll send these to your family or post them online." This type of manipulation is not only cruel, it's a blatant attempt to control you by exploiting your privacy and emotional vulnerability. But blackmail doesn't always have to be about photos or personal information. Emotional blackmail can take many forms. A partner may deprive you of things that are essential to your well-being, like money for household expenses or access to necessities for you or your children. They may punish you for not complying with their demands by making your life harder, whether it's withholding financial support or using your fear of losing stability to keep you under their control. All forms of blackmail, be it emotional, psychological, or financial, are clear signs that you're in a toxic relationship. No one should ever use threats or manipulation to control or keep you in a relationship. If you're being blackmailed in any way, it's a definite indicator that you need to leave before the toxicity worsens. 5. Forcing an intimate relationship. The fifth, and one of the most dangerous signs, is when your partner forces you into an intimate relationship without your consent. Intimacy in a healthy relationship is built on mutual respect and clear consent. It's never about pressure, coercion, or manipulation. This applies to every relationship, even if you're married. No one has the right to control or demand access to your body. If your partner disregards your feelings, your boundaries, or your readiness for intimacy, it's a major red flag. Whether you're not in the right mental or physical state, or simply not feeling comfortable or willing, forcing intimacy is never acceptable. This kind of behavior isn't just an abuse of power, it's a violation of your autonomy and your rights over your own body. In a toxic relationship, your partner may try to convince you that it's your duty, or they may manipulate you with guilt, shame, or threats. They may make you feel that you have no choice, or that you owe them this kind of closeness. But let me be very clear. If they ever pressure or force you into intimacy, it is not love. It's control, and it's abusive. Even within marriage or a committed partnership, your body is your own, and no one has the right to violate your consent. If you experience this behavior, it's a dangerous sign that you're in a toxic relationship and you need to seek help immediately. 6. The threat of suicide. The final and most dangerous sign of a toxic relationship is the threat of suicide. If your partner ever says, even in passing, "I'll commit suicide if you leave me," or "I can't live without you," you are facing a life-threatening situation. These words aren't just a cry for help. They are a serious warning that you should never ignore. It's important to understand what's really happening here. When someone threatens suicide in this way, they're not necessarily saying they'll harm themselves. What they are doing is using this threat as a form of control, a manipulative tactic to keep you in the relationship. It's an extreme form of emotional blackmail meant to keep you from leaving. But here's the terrifying truth. This behavior can escalate. The person threatening suicide may be signaling their readiness to engage in violence that could go beyond themselves. The underlying message is not, "I want to die," but "I am capable of violence." This is a dangerous projection of potential harm, and it can manifest in a way that puts your life at risk. If they are willing to threaten suicide, they might very well be willing to hurt you. If your partner uses this kind of manipulation, it's not just toxic, it's potentially lethal. These threats indicate a severe lack of emotional stability and an inability to respect your autonomy. If you hear this threat, you need to run, not just for your safety, but for your life. Remember, a healthy relationship is built on respect, trust, and mutual care. Any relationship that uses threats like this is not just toxic, it is life-threatening. Don't wait to get out. We've come to the end of this crucial video. Please take this message seriously. It's not just about emotional well-being, it's about your safety. A toxic relationship can be far more dangerous than you might think and can even threaten your life. I hope these signs help you recognize toxic patterns and take the necessary steps to protect yourself. If this video resonated with you, please give it a thumbs up and share it with as many people as possible to help others who might be in these situations. Let's spread awareness and support those who need it most. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Stay strong, stay safe, and be happy.